from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
And good evening, I'm Steve Atkinson, and I'm joined remotely by my co-anchor Kimberly Hunt. We'll be checking in with her shortly. But first, San Diego is facing a $350 million deficit as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. Our 10 News reporter Anthony Pura has more on where the city plans to cut to make ends meet.
San Diego's tourism and sales tax revenues took a major hit when the pandemic started, impacting the 2021 budget. City officials estimating a deficit of more than $350 million.
So just like every family right now, we will have to make difficult choices at the city of San Diego. But like every family, we're going to do that with care.
Mayor Kevin Faulconer on Tuesday announcing changes to the budget he proposed in April.
Among the biggest changes from the initial budget plan I released last month are keeping operating hours at every rec center to 60 hours per week. Reopening community pools on July 1 if we are allowed to do so due to public health mandates. Additional code enforcement officers to bolster public safety.
COVID-19 relief funds will help lessen the blow. The mayor wants the roughly $270 million from the state and federal governments to go to COVID-19 operational expenses like personnel and supplies, and to continue housing homeless at the convention center, as well as small business relief and child care for essential workers. The mayor says his budget also prioritizes police, fire, and first responders.
That's critically important. And you will see that reflected in this budget because that is essential city services. We are going to make some reductions in other areas. As I said, there's position reductions in numerous departments across the city.
The proposed budget eliminates 275 budgeted positions. However, that's fewer than what was proposed last month. It also closes libraries on Sundays and Mondays. It will also cut in half next year's round of arts and culture grants. In addition, the proposed budget does not tap into the city reserves.
It is very important to me and to our city to make sure that our reserves remain healthy so we can help avoid deeper cuts in the future.
Anthony Pura, 10 News.
That proposed budget will go to the city council, which will work to adopt a final budget coming up next month. Here is a look at the latest coronavirus numbers in our county. 80 new cases were reported today. That brings our total to just over 6,000. The county also reported 11 additional deaths, raising the total there to 222. County leaders are asking the governor to allow us to reopen a lot faster. Our 10 News reporter Rachel Bianco looks at the move today that some say could be dangerous.
Restaurants across San Diego sit empty. Like so many others, the owner of Perioli in Solana Beach is getting by on takeout, but he doesn't know how much longer this can last.
Most small businesses, they survive on a weekly basis.
Dozens of business owners and employees called into the County Board of Supervisors Tuesday to demand San Diego reopens.
If we take a look at these numbers that have been given by Dr. Wooten, I have to question, has it been worth the damage?
Let adults make decisions. If they're comfortable going out, let them go out. If they're not comfortable, let them stay in.
Local health officials believe the county meets the governor's new criteria to move deeper into phase 2. That would allow for in-person dining and retail. The board is also asking the governor to consider San Diego for a pilot program that would allow businesses in phase 3 to open faster. That would include gyms, hair salons, outdoor religious services, modified youth sports with no spectators, and HOA pools.
Today is the time we need to take action or risk losing more kids physically, mentally, and emotionally. This shutdown will create damage that could last a lifetime.
Others say it is just too soon. Representatives from Sharp and Scripps Health among those calling in to say slow down.
Our ask is simple, slow and steady. We have a success story, but only a partial one. We have flattened the curve in parts of the county, but not throughout the county.
Other than Supervisor Nathan Fletcher, the board voted to send the accelerated plan to the governor. Rachel Bianco, 10 News.
County supervisors are hoping for a response from the governor by at least Friday. Earlier today, 10 News spoke with Supervisor Nathan Fletcher. He explained why he does not want San Diego County to move too quickly into stage 3 of reopening.
Given that we haven't even completed stage 2, it seemed a little reckless to immediately dash headlong into stage 3.
Stage 2 includes reopening in-person dining and retail. Supervisor Fletcher says moving too fast, too soon would be damaging to our economy and the public health. He described what would happen if we had to take steps backwards.
Depending upon the severity of the spike, the first thing we could do would just be to pause where we are. Not do any more expansions, just pause where we are, monitor the impacts, alert to the public that we're having some problems, we need greater adherence. And then if that was not successful, then we would most likely be in a rollback scenario, and it would make the most sense to do it in the order you came out of.
Stage 3 includes opening hair and nail salons as well as gyms. The governor has indicated we could possibly move into that next phase as early as June. The county also decided how to use that $334 million it's getting from the federal stimulus package. $175 million from the CARES Act will go to the county's COVID-19 response and recovery. The county also designated $100 million for testing, $17 million for economic stimulus programs for restaurants and small businesses, $15 million for behavioral health services, and $2 million for child welfare services.
The San Diego Unified School District says it has plans in place to welcome students back on campus this fall. Vice President of the San Diego Unified School Board, Richard Barrera, says there will be changes to increase safety, such as temperature checks, masks, and more staff. But the one thing standing in the way is money. Governor Newsom's revised budget proposal calls for a 10% cut to school funding.
A 10% cut to schools is equal to about $500 million.
Barrera says it is up to the federal government to make the next move. He is calling on parents and community members concerned about the cuts to contact their California senators. As 50 states partially ease restrictions this week, the urgency for a vaccine is growing. But there could be one less thing to fear, and that's getting the coronavirus twice. ABC's Romina Puga has more.
On Capitol Hill Tuesday, President Trump refusing to back down on his decision to take that controversial anti-malaria drug.
It gives you an additional level of safety, but you can ask many doctors are in favor of it.
The FDA explicitly warning against the use of hydroxychloroquine for COVID treatment outside of hospitals or clinical trials. And physicians warn of dangerous side effects.
There is a potential for cardiac abnormalities, abnormal heart rhythm, eye issues, retinopathy, and those are all possible with its use.
But the president's own doctor saying after numerous discussions, we concluded the potential benefit from the treatment outweighed the relative risks. This week, every state in the country easing restrictions. Georgia, one of the first to reopen, faced intense criticism, including from the president.
I think it's too soon.
But now, 3 weeks in, no major statewide spike. ABC News also looking at 21 states that have eased restrictions and have found no major change in hospitalizations or deaths. And an encouraging turn after 277 recovered South Korean COVID-19 patients tested positive a second time.
Once you get infected with COVID-19, it's unlikely that you're going to get infected again.
The South Korean CDC thinks it's likely those relapse cases were actually due to testing failures, calling the test results false positives and saying the traces of the virus detected were actually harmless dead samples. Meantime, the race for a vaccine is on. Pharmaceutical giant Pfizer has phase 1 and 2 trials underway simultaneously, and a manufacturing plant in Michigan is ramping up before even having the vaccine. In Colorado, Romina Puga, ABC News.
Rady Children's Hospital is confirming San Diego's first cases of the mysterious inflammatory syndrome linked to COVID-19. It is a rare condition. It's similar to Kawasaki's disease. It turns a child's immune system against its own blood vessels. The syndrome is responsible for several deaths across the country. Many more children are critically ill. Rady Children says that it saw several cases last week. None of the children was severe enough to require intensive care.
There is good news for dog owners. The Imperial Beach Dog Park will reopen tomorrow. Everyone is being asked to take the usual precautions, including social distancing, with others in the park also wearing a mask. We know the road to recovery is long, so here at 10 News, we are committed to working with you to find solutions to the turmoil that's been created by this coronavirus. So join us Thursday at 7:30 for the Rebound San Diego. It's a 10 News special. We will explore ways to find a job, make ends meet, and manage the pressure. We'll also show you the creative ways people are making it here in San Diego. And we want to hear from you too. Send us your questions for our panel of experts to tips@10news.com. The Aztecs could play the 2021 football season outside of San Diego. San Diego State is hoping to begin construction on a new stadium in Mission Valley this summer, but with the sale of the land from the city yet to be finalized, San Diego State's athletic director is looking into alternate plans for 2021. He told the UT that could include playing in Orange County or even Carson, where the Chargers played for the last 3 years.